The thing about children's news is that kids aren't interested in war or politics, but the second somebody has sex with a ghost. Breaking news! Moose Round is back! My name is sorry. Yeah, it's just a little bit difficult without the auto cue, Sorry. I can handle it. I've got it. Sorry about that. Okay. Breaking news! Moose Round is back! My name is... No, forget it. Cut. Let me just say this. If a bear shit in the woods and nobody was around to see it and nobody was around to taste it, he'd have a report about it on my desk within the hour. He was just the man for the news. Being on the news was fantastic at first, but some of the shit that you have to sit through to get a good story is incredible. We can't report it every time an old lady swallows a fly. Although one day we did report that because she'd actually swallowed a horse in an attempt to rectify the situation. And I thought it was fake at first, but no, she'd had a real mare. Remember the news? Boring, wasn't it? Ugh. Literally the same stories all the time. Oh, someone's died. There was the story about the guy who was catfished by an actual catfish posing as a mermaid, unbelievable. And I think he sent upwards of £400,000 to an address in the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, some people's lives are just bizarre. Whenever they had a good character, they just kill him off. It's so predictable, Sometimes people were dead before they even became a character. They needed new writers, really. The news. It's like a story, except it actually happened. Absolutely lazy writing. That's not art. The thing about children's news is that kids aren't interested in war or politics, but the second somebody has sex with a ghost, it's all over the playground, And we just had to make sure that we were all over these types of stories, There was a campaign for children to create their own news, It wasn't my idea by any means, but we ran with it, and it completely backfired. If there's no news, then what's the harm in making some? Kids were framing their parents for murder, others were looting. You had small armies of children completely pillaging coastal towns.
Perhaps there's no worse way to open a Sunday than being chained to a radiator with your children chanting that they're going to feed you to the poor. That is, unless you have to watch a few consecutive episodes of Moose Round.
The fallout was incredible, as was the lawsuit, by the way. But what kept us afloat in the end was that the guy, delivering the news was on our channel. So we were very lucky. One of the best stories by a mile was reuniting him with his daughter. And, I do take some credit for that. Milk Splat was a hugely wholesome show.
Stacey, if you're watching, please come home. Mummy and Daddy love you very much.
The disappearance of his daughter was an interesting one because he acted very surprised and he acted very caught unawares, but of course he'd been a fairly absent father, and with his record of making the news, you do wonder whether she was really taken without him knowing about it. I'm not so sure, because it did realise some quite strong ratings for the Moves Round crew.
She came back. She came back. I'm so thankful for everyone that helped at the time. I mean, I was absolutely dreading, looking at my reports and seeing, she'd been found mangled in a dumpster or something like that. But no, she came back. The fact that he had to report constantly on the disappearance of his daughter and many of the gruesome things that came with that must have been taxing. But that's what I was paying him to do. You know who else is taxing? The tax man. I had my family at home and they were expecting. So choices had to be made. Of course, I left the family 2 weeks after that.
I mean, it's a real Nelson Mandela situation. Mandela was jailed for over 20 years, and when he was released, he did divorce his wife within 1 year, and you think, how bad was she? And in this case, you do think, how bad was he?
Everybody's favourite TV show, Milk Splat, has been cancelled by the network.
Well, the good news was that the show was cancelled. The bad news was that the news guy had to report something true for once.
I was absolutely speechless. I couldn't believe it. Milk Splat cancelled. But it was my job to report the news, and so I reported it very accurately.
Well, we spoke to the presenter Andy, who stood in a puddle of his own tears and a little bit of piss.
He completely made up that quote. Someone had to stay strong, for the crew, because Andy, he was pissing himself on national television. It's pathetic. I didn't piss myself. No. I had it on good authority that he peed his pants. Who told him? How can you have a quote from me about a story that I haven't even found out about yet? Come on. People want the truth. Even in the dying second, it was my duty to deliver the truth. That man pissed his pants.